Hello and welcome, everyone. My name is Lauren Wenzell. I am a human design specialist and clairvoyant life coach. And today I have with me the amazing and beautiful Lyndsay Adams. And Lyndsay is very, very special to me. We met like over 10 years ago. And it was through my first experience doing transformational work. She is such a powerful coach then, and I can't even imagine how she is now. And it was so awesome that she reached out to me to get to know her human design a little bit more and really expand in her business, her purpose, up leveling in money, and yeah, just wanting to be here. So I'm so excited, Lyndsay, for you to be here. I love for you to share a little bit about yourself. She's a 3-5 generator with sacral authority. Anything about human design that you know, if you are completely new to this, and your hopes of using this intel.
Thank you. So I'm Lindsay. I'm 40. I recently got married. I have a whole menagerie of cats and dogs. I love animals. And I'm a coach. I love people. I love working with people. I love opening possibility. Um, I'm the kind of coach that just gets a thrill out of little shifts in mindset that open up space. Not so much around like just how to do things perfectly or something. So I have really like intimate, connected relationships with my clients, and it's very fulfilling. And I love what I do being with people as they grow their life in a way that they love. Um, I know a little bit about human design. Like I've done some different things, I've learned some different things. And for the most part, like I don't tend to like retain the information about human design, but I hear the information about how it supports me. So I couldn't tell you any of the like jargon with it, but I know that it historically like resonates and serves me. And that's part of why I reached out to you, and I saw that you were doing this. It just hit and was like, yes, that is exactly what I know will open another door for me. So I'm very grateful to have some time with you, Lauren, and learn from your gifts.
Yay, thank you so much for sharing. And I'm so glad that you're here and that your gut was like, uh-huh, I'm ready to dive into this. So, so good. Okay, so I'm going to pull up your chart, Lyndsay. So the most important thing when we're looking at our design is knowing our type first and foremost. So we see that Lyndsay is a pure generator. So what it means to be a pure generator is that your sacral is defined and your emotional center isn't. It's undefined, and you don't have a motor to the throat because that would make you a manifesting generator. So the theme with a generator is to be in their satisfaction. It's really using their energy to do things that make them feel satisfied. In business, they are called the builders. So they are really designed to work, and not in the sense of like, oh, I have to work, like this like paradigm of I have to do this like a means to an end. It's like, no, this brings me a lot of satisfaction, fulfillment, joy. My purpose is in what I do. So that's very important for an energy type. And the not self theme of the generator, what pushes them out of alignment is frustration. It's like an energy drain completely. So things in the mind, since you have an undefined crown and ajna, this is where we're really going to be vulnerable with other people's definition and outside energy. So it's like the amplification of the thoughts and the pressure to think, and then the amplification of beliefs. And if it's in the not self, trying to prove the beliefs onto other people. But the gifts with the undefined centers and the openness is the fluidity, is to be more of the observer. And so since you have, and I feel like that's where we were just talking and you're like, yeah, I'm more like, I don't like to be in the mind as much. I don't really like to be, it has to be a certain way and perfect and this and that. And that's where the gifts and the wisdom of the undefined centers is seeing the fluidity of like, oh, I can see this belief. Oh, I can transmute this belief pretty easily. So, with that said, Lyndsay, do you feel like you can tap into the satisfaction and see the frustration throughout your life?
Mm-hmm. Yep, very much so.
Awesome. So, what will really help you be in tune with using your inner authority, that's like our intuition in human design, and it's all about your gut, is listening to the uh-huh for yes and the uh-uh for no. It's like those gut sounds. And then sometimes there's a I don't know. And so I've seen this a lot with generators or people who have sacral authority. They'll get like the intuitive hit, but then the mind gets in the way of like, oh, well, what about this and that? And then it kind of spirals. But then if they don't listen to their gut, then they come back and was like, my gut was right from the beginning. And so our inner authority, it can take on way more than what our mind can comprehend in the now moment.
Mm-hmm.
And so the more that we use our inner authority, we're allowing our higher intelligence, our body intelligence to really guide us and be in the flow of co-creation more. And that's not as like forceful because we're not manifestors. Only about 9 to 10% of the population is a manifestor. And so they have that, they don't have to wait part. Whereas as a generator, um, part of their strategy is wait to respond. So it's not really initiating, it's waiting and then responding.
Hmm.
Does that make sense? Does that resonate with you?
I feel like I'm not so great at that.
Mm-hmm.
I very much, I'm like now, like,
Yeah.
um, yeah.
Yeah, because you have almost all your motors defined. And then when somebody has defined will center, I've seen this as like, okay, I got the willpower. I'm going to go out and do it, and that willpower can really take over part of the strategy of waiting to respond. And it's not as challenging, maybe, as like for a projector to wait to respond, as waiting for the invitation. But it's like, let's say you get a download, you get this idea, and then the mind and, a lot of society would be like, well, why wait? Just go out and do it. Well, that might be coming from a lot of manifestors who that may work for them. But that process is not going to work for about 90% of the population. So when you get this download, you can say like, okay, I'm going to wait for confirmation. I'm going to wait to respond to see if this is an alignment or if this is just a thought that just passed through. And so what I see is a lot of people will get like synchronicities of like a friend being like, oh, let's say you got a download and you're like, I really want to be on a podcast. And so you have that thought in your mind and then you're just waiting. And then you might see like a post on social media saying like, I'm looking for people to be on my podcast, and then your gut's like, that's it, that's what I was waiting to respond for. Or you might get an invitation from somebody like, Lyndsay, I think you would be perfect, come be on my podcast, instead of initiating from the mind of like, okay, I'm going to make this happen, who has a podcast, I'm going to reach out to them.
Got it. Got it.
And I see a lot of distortion and suffering sometimes when we take a lot of action from the mind. And this is why we call human design an experiment, because there's so much deconditioning from it. It's so hard, and no one just gets it right and perfect. It's a 7-year process of like when we are going through a detox or our DNA is changing, that takes 7 years. So that's that's this process when you're really aligning to your design. It says for generators, and I feel like manifesting generators, it can click kind of faster because we have been homogenized from the energy world. So you're still an energy type, so it will benefit you. There might be some deconditioning, but for non-energy types, it's a little bit harder for us to decondition. But I feel like with the generators and the manifesting generators, that waiting part can be a bit of a challenge at first.
Totally get that.
So, what's been your experience with waiting, not waiting, your satisfaction, and then your frustration?
Um, my experience, I notice like if I have an idea, like I have a few ideas that I've been like sitting on for a little bit, and I relate to it as um like I've missed it. Like I've missed the boat. Like I
Mm-hmm.
relate to a lot of things around actually like business and career, like this aspect of my professional life. I relate to a lot of it as like I've missed my opportunity. Like whatever I've been doing, I've when I've been frustrated and I get like I just don't want to do this, or I don't know what to do, which is really frustrating. Like on a deep level, I don't know what to do, not just like what do I do? You know,
Mm-hmm.
when I really feel it, I don't do it. And then I now have a story of like, I've missed the boat. Like I could have been this, but now I had this lesser result or possibility for my life because I've like blown it in some way by delaying. So it's nice to hear that there might be some wisdom in it or something good in it, like to unravel that story a bit. Um, and then I also really relate to the part about being frustrated and I notice like I am really up for a challenge. Like something can be challenging and can be um like unclear and like I'm up for a challenge. It's not that I'm unwilling to be struggle with something, but there's such a distinction between a challenge and being frustrated and
Mm-hmm.
um the deep like yuck it is to feel that kind of frustration. Like it really had it's like a it makes it like mud, like impossible.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very, very, very hard to figure out I how to move forward or to do anything with that other than just to quit, which is also I often interpret that in a very heavy, like failure, I suck kind of way.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing. This is so good because this is really related to your channels and your design. So I love what you said about, you're up for a challenge because that is all about your channel of struggle and then also your channel of concentration. So with the channel of struggle, it is individual. And so that's your own individual experience. It's all about self-empowerment and what is worth the struggle and what's not worth it. So it could be like, yes, I'm fighting for this. This is a struggle. And then other times it will be like, this is not worth the struggle. I can't, this is not worth my energy. It's frustrating. So it's good that you can distinguish the two. And I feel like with this, it's going to give you more clarity of like, there's no need to go into a story because it's a part of me. I am designed to have this channel within me so I can know what's worth fighting for. I know how to persevere for the struggle, and then I have the victory and I can inspire others from it. And
Mhm.
then with the 9 and the 52 channel, that's all about stillness and being in the chaos. It's really powerful channel. It's the root going up to the sacral. So it's this pressure to be energized and generative and knowing how to respond in that and knowing what steps to take, like each step at a time. That's all about the gate 9 is taking one small step at a time. It's all about the small details and it can see all the chaos. And then it's like that quote by, I think it was like Michelangelo. It's like the marble, and it's like I didn't see just the marble. I saw the art piece already. I saw the piece, the piece of art that
Thing
I
that you
wanted
were.
to create. Yeah. So that reminds me of this channel. So I think we're tapping into some really powerful awarenesses within your design as we're talking about this. So that's really powerful. And so do you have any questions about those two channels?
Not yet.
Okay. So the next thing I wanted to go into with you being a generator, you have a small split definition, meaning that you have these three centers talking, and then you have these two centers talking, but there's a small split from all of them talking together to have that single definition. So what that means is in business is that split definitions, they're really designed to work in collaborations and partnerships or work with other people. If you're more so a solopreneur, you might experience some frustration, or there might be some lag with your gut intuition because the gate 2, 5, 29, 34, and 57. So these gates that are not active in your chart, if somebody could define them for you, that could really help in your gut intuition and just going more fast or generative in your business. Do you have a partnership in your business? Do you work with other people?
I do have a couple people that like I brainstorm with or talk about
Perfect.
ideas with, and it would really support me to have help with things like accounting and
Hmm.
that kind of business side of it that has to be done, but is like just not interesting for me.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that accounting is like the 33 and the 13. So, yeah, that would really support. And, I don't know if the other people that help brainstorm or support you in your business, if they know their design, but it would be interesting to see if they had any of these gates that really support you with tapping more into your gut knowing and having those ahas come more.
Mhm.
So that would really support you. And then in the future, if you wanted to have more of a partnership in your business, that is also a possibility. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to mention is that this is the perfect timing for you to really contemplate and reflect on where you want to go in your business because you're now shifting into your north node. So we come into this life and we experience more the theme of our south nodes. So the south node is this shape, it's like kind of like a U shape, and it's
Mhm.
these two gates. So the 58 and the 10 for you. And so this theme is usually around 0 to like 40. And then as we go through this theme, we go now into the north node, which is our highest potential. It's our north star. And this is the north node. So you went through these themes of joy, of experiencing what joy is for you, really creating this foundation, and also self-love, what your self-love meant for you when, because it's in your line too. So it's very personal. It's very like an introspective time. And then it was invited out to share with other people. And now we're going into the theme where you are going into the gate 52, which is part of that concentration channel. And then also the gate 15, which is all about extremes. And the gate 15 is also in your incarnation cross. So your incarnation cross is all about your life purpose. And the gate 15 is really magnetic. It's extremes. It's part of this channel, the 515, which is rhythm. So it's rituals and then extremes and really being in tune with one's own natural rhythm. But since you only have the gate 15, it's going to be more of like a magnetism of where you are going because it's off your G center, which is all about self-identity, self-love, and direction. So it will be an interesting time to kind of see what extremes you're going to be pulled to. And it's in your own, because it's in the line too as well, in your own hermiting or like reflective time. And it's also one of the gates of love. We have like four transcendental gates of love in human design, and you have all four of them. So going back to your incarnation cross, your purpose here is really to be an example of how to love yourself. Like really tap into, you know, your exploration, your journey of love and what that means to you, and then inspiring other people and inviting them in and feeling energized to explore that. Because and this is just my personal opinion, you know, I could be totally wrong. We are kind of shifting from this like very systematic, you know, it has to look a certain way. I want all these things into a spiritual awakening of like who am I? You know, how do I love myself? What do I really want from like a soul point of view, not just like materialistic or this or that or checking all the boxes. And Lyndsay, I really feel like this is the time where you're going to boom in this point for you. So how does that feel? How does that land?
It really lands. I've been thinking about that. I almost I feel awkward saying this. But like I sent you my holiday letter, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was so rewarding for me to write that and to share it. And I've gotten a lot of feedback around it. And it's just a holiday letter. And I've been in this inquiry of like, what is that? What is that experience? Or what is this mechanism that I am in that is impactful? And in short, it's like mirroring. I hear it's mirroring what you're saying about like sharing my journey and inviting people into it and how that opens an experience.
Mm.
And just as like an example of something of what you're saying. So it's interesting to notice that and like, okay, something in that really resonates, and I'm not sure what it like means or what to do with it, but that has me curious.
I love that. Yes. So let's go into a little bit more into the details of your incarnation crosses. We really want to shine this light into your purpose. And so when we look at the incarnation cross, one of the most important gates is your personality sun. And so this is where the sun shines in on you and you're seen in the world. And your sun is in gate 25, which is all about universal love. It's
Mm,
the gate of innocence. You love the world, you love people. It's not like a conditional thing. It's more like I love you because I love you and that's who I am. And it's in your line 3 and it's all about experimentation and trial and error
mm,
because you're a 3-5. So your profile, who you are as a 3, you're going to be more conscious of the 3 of like they call it in business the determined explorer. So it's like, okay, I'm going to try this out. I don't know if it's going to work, but let me just see. And then sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't, but then you learn something from it so you can share what works and what doesn't work with other people, especially as a line 5 in your subconscious, because the line 5 is here to teach. It's here to share their heresy. They're teachers of the now. And
mm.
so a 3-5, this is the third reading that I've done for the recorded sessions, and they've all been 3-5s. So I'm seeing like a pattern and a theme for
Wow.
3-5s. They're really charismatic. They're great at showing up, at teaching, and really sharing from the trial and error.
Mm,
And they have the capacity because they're the ones that go up on the ladder, they fall off, and then they get up and they go back up. And there's so much power in that because the shadow side of the 3 can get stuck in repeating the same mistakes over and over and not learning from it, or being too scared to even try because they know they're going to make a mistake anyway. So why try? And it's like, no, the power of the three is I can get right back up. It's okay. So how
Awesome.
does that resonate with you?
Uh, well, it takes some of the heat off of the part of me that feels like I've failed in certain things, or like, why have I not done more by now? Or
Mhm.
just whatever that stuff is, it takes some of that heat off.
Great.
Hmm.
Yeah, and the mind, the amplification of the crown center, it's going to feel the pressure to think about things that you don't need to think about because it's like the not self is I don't know what to think. So should I think about this? Should I think about that? And so the deconditioning processes of just observing the thoughts and seeing them pass through more and then feeling the satisfaction of what to focus on and
Mm.
knowing what's true and what's not true. And you have this really powerful channel, this individual channel. It's called the channel of initiation. It's also the shaman channel. So in business, you have two really powerful channels that are huge in large corporations because you have three gates for a penta. The three gates that are going to be activated for you in small businesses is your gate 15, which is all about magnetism. It's all about bringing in people together. It's the gate of then the gate 14 is the gate of money. It's the gate of resources. So it's like bringing in the resources for that small group or business. And then the 46, this is such a powerful gate. It's all about stabilizing
Mm.
energy around you. It's all about having those people feeling stable and generative around you in a small group or business. And so, but then when you enter a large corporation or business, you might, and this is just my assumption, you might feel more comfortable because your individual channels and your individuality can be seen because you have this channel of preservation, which is all about nurturing people. It's all about making them feel secure. It's called logic, recognition, and security. So in human design, it is the divine feminine channel. It's all about knowing how to preserve the tribe. And in business, it really makes people feel secure and safe in a large
Mm.
corporation or probably in your business too because this is part of who you are. And then in the channel of the 2551, the shaman channel, the channel of initiation, it's all about the spirit of competition. It's knowing what's going to pop next in your industry. So it's not like a competitive, I gotta win. It's like, it's this pureness, it's this innocence, right? Because it's coming off the gate 25. And so it's knowing what is going to pop and feeling that that love and the willpower of knowing what to bring to your tribe.
Sounds all very good news.
So what's coming to you right now? Because I know I probably just channel a lot of
I love
information.
it. I love it. I feel encouraged. I do feel like, but what do I actually do? You know?
Uh-huh.
I mean, I love what I currently do, coaching people, and I can feel that there's a shift coming, like a yes and, like this and something,
Hmm.
not necessarily like different track altogether. And I just don't know, and that gets frustrating, and then I feel stalled.
Mm,
So,
yeah.
and then when I hear like these things that sound very like supportive and powerful and like, oh, this is me, and then to feel like, but I don't know what to do, it's frustrating.
Yeah, so that's going to be a really good thing for you to experiment with the waiting. because it's really going to test you to take that pressure off because you do have a defined root center. So it wants to be active, it wants to drive. And so, but if you're not if you're not waiting and responding, and you're
Mhm.
just more so like, well, I have to do something, I have to do something, that's going to make you frustrated.
Mhm.
Right. So then it's like, what would be possible if you got to wait and just respond, of really just leaving it up to the universe and to all these possibilities out there and then letting it land and then you're in response.
I love that. And I often feel like I'm waiting but it feels like how I have done it feels more like stopping, not waiting.
Mm,
Or like feeling like I missed something. And because ultimately I've been in a waiting for quite a while. Like I've been in
mhm,
some actions for sure. And then I feel like I've been waiting for, like I said, a while. And I guess I don't know the difference between some version of like laziness, waiting,
mm,
um, lost, or like stopped, or you know what I mean? It's hard to know, like, am I
mhm.
missing it or am I waiting still?
Right. And so with that, you have two individual channels. With the circuitry with the individual channel, is it can be melancholy because there's this stuckness. And it's like, I'm stuck, I'm waiting, I'm stuck, I'm stuck. Oh my God, what the fuck is going on? I'm stuck. What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? And then bam, the pulse happens, the mutation happens. But that's exactly how the individual channels work and their circuitry and their pulse and their energy. So you have four channels, two of them are individual. So 50% of who you are in your circuitry is individual. So that's going to be a balance that you get to play with and see if you can surrender to, of like, what's possible during the waiting. What am I feeling inspired by? What's the melancholy even drawing me into? Maybe there's like a creativity here with the waiting. And it's not like I'm stopping. It's not like I'm giving up. What would be possible from that point of view? Because you're designed to view things through possibility.
Yeah,
So it's
for
like,
sure.
what's possible here? And really, you know, what's really powerful for generators when they start taking this on is trusting the no's. It's really
Mm,
trusting the no's and the uh-uhs. And it's like your mind's going to be like, oh my God, I'm missing out. I'm not doing this. What the hell? Da, 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 da. But your sacral, your gut is going to be like, just trust me. Just
yeah.
trust me. And there's going to be a period. And then when that pulse happens, when that mutation happens, then the yeses come in, and then you're going to experience a lot of level of satisfaction and recognition you probably haven't been,
Mm,
I'm assuming.
great.
So that's my little mini reading for you as we really dived into some basics for your design and some specific details with your purpose and what's next and possible as you up level, go into your north node and align more to your purpose.
Thank you.
So do you have any last minute questions, comments, anything you'd like to share?
I feel grateful. I feel curious, which is fun. Um, I wanted to say I texted you about this, but when I saw on here that it said kitchen dry on my
Mhm.
chart, that totally made me laugh because I'm in the middle of redoing my kitchen. So that felt very like on the nose fun.
Love it.
Um, um, I think I'll just leave the question of like, if you were me, what would you do now?
I would really take on the basics and the foundation, which is the strategy and inner authority. So I'd really experiment with waiting to respond. And it's not like you're waiting and doing nothing. It's just you're waiting for confirmation to come through. It's not the initiating from the mind. Like anything can be a response because everything in your environment is external stimuli for you. So you could literally like have a thought and then you could see something like that mirrors that right in front of you, like on your nightstand, your room, like anything. So I don't want this to be limited in any way. I want it to feel like it's taking off any burdens of like maybe something that's like I have to do this. It's like it's really opening the co-creation possibility with you in the universe and really getting in the flow and feeling the satisfaction and seeing where you feel frustrated. Like really be an inquiry of like, does this frustrate me? Does this drain my energy? And what's the story around this? And can I let this go? Is this a breakthrough opportunity for me? Because the mind, it's really hard when we're trying this new intel on, we're aligning to this system and design, and it's very new. It only came and downloaded into the founder Ra Uru in 1987. And so it's only
Wow.
been around and being taught for maybe 20 or 30 years at the most. And so it's a whole new concept. We've had other spiritual teachings and really mystical experiences from like gurus and saints and stuff, but that still was from their own point of view. Human design is giving you the intel for you and your self-empowerment, how you're designed to experience life. And so I would just, take whatever resonates and feels the most supportive for you. If something feels limiting, if it feels frustrating, just leave it and really tune into what feels satisfying and expansive for you.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you.
You are so welcome. Thank you so much, Lyndsay, for being here. Where can people find you if they wanted to connect with you and learn more about you?
I have a couple websites. The easiest one is coachinglifealchemy.com. And that's for all my coaching, life coaching, group coaching stuff. And then I also do some work with brides and officiating and working with people going through the wedding engagement process. Brides can be any gender. And that is at lyndsayadams.com.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And I will share the links in this video. And if you would like to dive into your human design, receive coaching, expanding in your life through design, you can reach out to me through my website or find me on social media, and I will provide my links in my video as well. So thank you so much for being here, for being with us as we dive more into Lyndsay's design. If anything resonated with you, please share in the comments. And until next time.